Well, hello, Scouters. Welcome to Cub Chat Live. My name is Mike Rooney, and today we're going to talk about Commissioner Service and Cub Scouts. Now, on the Cub Scout side, I am a den leader, and I with a lion den, and I am a PAC 275 committee commissioner, committee member. So then wearing my commissioner hat, I'm the current Key 3 commissioner of the National Cub Scout Committee. And as I just mentioned, I am a Cub Scout commissioner for a local Cub Scout PAC. Now, as you probably know, but just to remind everyone who may be watching for the first time, Cub Chat Live is a weekly program of Scouting Magazine, the National Cub Scout Committee, and Facebook. Every week, there is a different program on a scouting subject of interest to Cub Scout families and volunteers. Now, if you haven't watched Cub Chat Live before, I urge you to check out the archives of the last several years. There is a long list of subjects that have been discussed on this program, and I predict that there will be a number of them that may be of special interest to you. Well, just in the last month or so, we've had programs on how to make a den meeting fun, things you can do to have a great Cub Scout program, creating a PAC budget. And as Gina said, as we started our session today, podcasts on all of these subjects are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever platform you use. So check out some of these other Cub Chat Live sessions. Now, normally during Cub Chat Live, Aaron or Gina will be the host. They will ask questions to the presenter. They'll give shout outs to people or units listening. Brian is normally behind the scenes in Control Central. But today, Brian and Gina are off and Aaron is in Control Central. So there won't be so many shout outs. There won't be a host. And I've got the entire time for us today all by myself. So a special shout out to all of you who are watching today, because we won't be able to do that other than just by me telling you this now. Now, today's topic is about Commissioner Service and Cub Scouts. And I've titled this presentation, "What is this commissioner business anyway?" And I've divided my presentation into two parts. Part number one, what commissioners want to tell Cub Scout volunteers and parents about commissioner service. That's when I'm going to be wearing my commissioner hat. But then part two, when I put on my Cub Scout hat, what do we as Cub Scout families and volunteers want commissioners to know about Cub Scouts? This is going to be our chance, Cub Scout families and volunteers, to tell the commissioners what we think they need to know. Okay, but if you've watched my presentation in the past, and I've been on a dozen times or so, you notice that I love to start my presentation with a Cub Scout riddle. And then at the end of the session, I tell you what the answer is to that riddle. Come on, we're Cub Scouts, right? We're going to have fun. So the first half of the riddle is this: why should Cub Scouts never brush their teeth with their left hand? Why should Cub Scouts never brush their teeth with their left hand? And I'm going to give you a hint. I've used this riddle before in some of my presentations, and it's in the back page of Scouting Magazine a number of issues ago. Okay, we'll come to that riddle answer at the end. Part one of the presentation. What do commissioners want Cub Scout parents and families to know about commissioner service? Well, to start with, commissioners want you to know that they are volunteers just like you. They've been in scouting a long time. They've been around a while. They know what works and what often doesn't work. And I can tell, for example, a story of something that didn't work. So years ago, I was hoping that I could take out an ad in our little local neighborhood magazine and announced that we had a Cub Pack meeting, and if you want to join Cub Scouts, this is a time to come and learn. I didn't get anybody responding to that. So I can tell you that doesn't work from a commissioner perspective, or at least it didn't work. But commissioners will often know about best practices. They'll often know about things that do work, such as if the pack sends a representative to your district's roundtable, that person will come back with ideas for fun programs. They'll know about coming activities. The bottom line is the commissioners are going to know about things that you might not necessarily know. Commissioners exist to support unit leadership in preparing America's youth for lives of impact and purpose. Wow. What's more important than that? Preparing America's youth for lives of impact and purpose. Commissioners, as I've said before, have been around a long time. They've experienced a lot of things. They want to be your single best resource for scouting information. They want to help your unit. Now, let me tell you a story. Years ago, when I had sons in the program and I was a Cub Master, we had a very, very active pack. I was 100% consumed as the Cub Master in running that pack. We had Indian dancers. We had people bringing in injured birds and animals and talking about them. We had campouts. I was over my head. I wanted to be left alone. I didn't want to go to roundtable. I'm dealing with families and den leaders. I have no time for training. We're doing okay. I don't need a commissioner. If you're from council, don't bother me. I don't want to know. I wanted to be left alone. In hindsight, that was a mistake. And it was a serious mistake. Yes, we had a very, very good pack, but it could have been better. In hindsight, I did not manage my volunteers well. There are layers of volunteers and professionals out there who can be useful to the packs. Each pack is part of a district. We know that. Each district has a commissioner. That district will have a number of unit commissioners, volunteers like me who are going to work directly with the unit. You're going to have a roundtable commissioner. Roundtables provide information, program training, networking opportunities. The point I want to make is that there is a huge amount of information out there to help you and your pack and to make that pack better than it is now. Now, here's something that commissioners want you to know about, because in the past, some Cub packs have been very skeptical about being involved with commissioners because commissioners were viewed as inspectors. Here was a person who visited your pack, your committee meeting, had a long form to fill out, looked like you were being graded. Well, you kind of were being graded. You were being inspected. Those days are gone. Commissioners today aren't anything like an inspector. That commissioner wants to be a friend, a coach, a resource, a colleague. In the Grand Canyon Council where I'm from, we don't even use the word commissioner anymore. It's replaced by the term coach. This fall, I'm going to be the commissioner for 3 Cub Scout packs in my council. Before I meet, I'm going to study up on the pack. There is a relatively new dashboard available to commissioners that contain mountains of information about the pack, leaders, scouts, training. I may even talk to the district commissioner or the district executive, and I probably know a number of the volunteers in the pack. When I arrive, I'm going to introduce myself, but I'm going to be a listener. I'm probably not even going to take any notes. I'll answer questions, of course, but when it's my time to say something, my approach is going to be, what can I do to help your unit? I might not even wear my uniform, my Class A uniform, get patches for Philmont, Order of the Air. I may want to be less intimidating. I just want to be there as a listener and let them know I'm a helper. Now, I'll probably go to 2 or 3 PAC meetings and committee meetings in a row just to listen. And my pitch is going to be, what can I do to help your unit? Now, in the PAC where I'm currently a commissioner, I have developed a very nice friendship with the PAC leadership, and I'm going to urge you commissioners, as you're involved with Cub PACs, to develop those relationships. I attend every committee meeting. When it's my turn, I give a summary of the council calendar. I bring everyone up to date. I've reviewed the council website, and I tell the PAC what they may need to know from that website, things such as sporting events that are coming up where there may be discounts. I give reports on the last roundtable. I attend all the roundtables and make sure my PAC knows what's happening based on that. If I'm asked questions, I give an answer. For example, my PAC wants to know about this popcorn business. We currently don't sell popcorn, but they're thinking they want to do it, and they asked me to give a report. The bottom line is I've got a friendship relationship. I'm a colleague. They look at me as someone who's there to help. They don't look at me as an inspector. Why do commissioners do what they do? Why do they spend evenings, weekends, helping units where they have no children, no grandchildren involved? Well, they do the things they do for many of the reasons, the things that you do. They care about the program. They care about the kids. They care about the values that scouting offers. And because it's fun. They enjoy being involved with the PAC. They enjoy being involved with the unit. They enjoy going to blue and gold banquets. And when they develop the relationship, and when you as Cub Scout families help them develop a relationship with the PAC, they're having fun. Okay, let me change gears just a little bit here. I asked members of the National Commissioner Service Team what they would like Cub Scout families and leaders to know about Commissioner Service. I put the ball in their lap. Okay, guys, what do you think Cub Scout families and volunteers should know? Well, Maddie says, I asked them all, Maddie was one of the first ones back, one of the key ways that Commissioner Service impacts Cub Scout leaders is at Roundtable. Each month, Roundtable commissioners are prepared with current program training for Cub Scout leaders. They teach skills for delivering the program and connecting them with the subject matter experts while having fun and networking with other scouters. You notice now I've mentioned Roundtable a couple of times. Maddie is the Roundtable commissioner at the National Service Team, and she is on board. She knows that Cub Packs are going to learn skills and pick up extra knowledge and learn about great programs when they go to the Roundtable. TW, another member of the National Service Team, wants you to know about the wealth of information that commissioners can provide. Don't be afraid to ask what commissioners actually do, he says, and he answers that they want to help. Karen on the National Service Team says, the unit commissioner is a great resource, qualifies policy and procedures, encourages basic training, helps with adult conflict resolution, helps unit leaders determine how to deal with behavior issues. Whoa, wouldn't it be nice to have someone involved with your PAC who's been around the track a few times, who has gone through some of these issues when there's a problem? Ken G says, commissioners, all district volunteers and professionals need to understand the deep and continuing support new Cub Scout leaders need, especially these new PACs. One of the reasons we talk about commissioners being involved when units are formed, so that the new PAC leaders are aware and will understand that they are not alone and that they will have fellow volunteers they can call and receive support and guidance. Fellow volunteers who are standing by, guidance and support. Mike W. said, When I was a Cub Master for several years, when my two older boys were going through the program, I wish I'd had a commissioner to help me through the process, confirming I was on the right track, making suggestions on their own, offering friendship, companionship, continued encouragement that I was moving along on the right steps. Commissioners are so needed when a new pack is formed or is in trouble and needs help. Mike went on to say, the unit leader should never be afraid to ask, who is my commissioner? I'd like to meet that person. You Scouters and Scout volunteers, Scout families, listen to that again. Don't be afraid to say, who is my commissioner? I'd like to meet that person. Now, I've saved Anna's comment to last, my favorite. She says, I want the pack to know and understand that commissioners are here to help them. We are a resource to help them, and they are not alone when things get tough. Do you hear that? Cub packs, commissioners are there so that you are not alone when things get tough. Okay, that was part one. What do commissioners want to tell Cub Scout packs and families and volunteers? Now I'm going to put on my Cub Scout hat. What do Cub Scout parents and volunteers want commissioners to know? What do we want to tell you? Okay, there are 5 tips for commissioners to keep in mind when they're connecting with Cub Scout families. 5 tips. Tip number 1. Commissioners, these families are young, really young. A Gen Z parent today is age 27 or younger. 25, 26, 27-year-old parent, that's young. The Gen Z is the first generation to have grown up with the internet with portable digital technology. Millennial parents are 28 to 43 years old. We have a young group of Cub Scout families and volunteers. And these new parents may either have no knowledge about scouting or a very superficial understanding. In my lion den, I just happened by serendipity to have 2 dads that were Eagle Scouts. Now, they had positive feelings about the program, but they didn't remember anything about Cub Scouts. And these were folks who were Eagle Scouts who'd had a long history with the program when they were younger. They couldn't tell me the difference between a merit badge and adventure belt loop. Think about it. The difference between a merit badge and an adventure belt loop, pretty basic stuff. It's another reason when I'm a commissioner with my pack, I often don't wear my Class A uniform. I wear my council polo, for example. I don't want to intimidate the new families. I don't want them to think that there's a whole mountain of things that they have to know or be involved with. And I want to move them into that very gently. You can't expect these new parents to be comfortable or to step in as den leaders, especially lion parents. They're like deers in the headlights. It's important for the Lion program, in my judgment, to have experienced scouters involved. In our den, parents often come one at a time. So the mom will bring the scout one den meeting, and then the dad will bring the scout the next den meeting. I'm constantly having to sort of give basic information because it doesn't follow through necessarily to the whole family. In my den, in my den right now, my lion den, we are moving that den to, of course, to the Tigers at the beginning of the school year. And a lot of my lion parents know other kindergarten parents. I'm actually thinking, and we'll probably combine our lion den with the tiger den, just because I think we're going to have the continuity of membership. Remember, these Cub Scout lions are kindergartners. Many of them don't know how to read or read very well, and most of them still salute with their left hand. They're young. Also remember, these families are busy. Careers, kids in school, activities, they're busy with life. 70% of millennials work more than 40 hours a week. 70% work more than 40 hours a week. 26 work more than 2 jobs. 26% of millennials work more than 2 jobs. Millennials will volunteer. I've discovered that. The packs need to develop roles that fit them and what they want to do. We've got to deviate from traditional thinking in which roles were created based on immediate organizational needs. We need to create jobs, create volunteer opportunities that are specific, have a start and a finish time that fit into the millennial schedule. Okay, that's tip number 1. These families are busy and they're young. Tip number 2, these young Cub Scout volunteers and families are tech savvy. Gen Z and millennials are fluent and comfortable with technologies. 95% of millennials own a smartphone. Actually, I'm a little surprised. I thought it would probably even be higher than 95%. Listen to this. 73% of millennials shop online 1 to 4 times a week. 73% of millennials shop online 1 to 4 times a week. That's using your device. My last PAC meeting, wasn't a PAC meeting, it was the committee meeting. We spent a significant amount of time debating and trying to figure out what communication platform we would use among ourselves as PAC leaders. I discovered that a number of these volunteers didn't use email anymore. They didn't text. I didn't even recognize some of the possible platforms where we could communicate back and forth. And we'll probably wind up using several platforms to communicate among ourselves. I'm in the process now of setting up a meeting between the Cub Master and the Assistant Cub Master and the people at the council who ran the Cub Adventure Camp this summer. There were some issues, and I'd like the 2 sides to talk about how we can improve the program. That meeting is going to be by Zoom. It's not going to be a face-to-face meeting. The point I want to make to commissioners is that you need to understand how you will be connecting to your Cub Scout volunteers, what platforms are going to use, how are you going to communicate and get to know them. Okay. That was tip number 2. Tip number 3. Cub Scouts want you to know that there is a serious shortage of commissioners. They want your help. They need your help. Remember, 92% of Scouts BSA members had a Cub Scout experience. We want to grow our Scouts BSA. We have to grow our Cub Scouts first, and that's where commissioners can be useful. Developing that relationship with the Cub Pack, being there as a guide, being there as a confidant, being there to offer support when things get tough. Tip number 4, a successful pack is a pack that has fun. And if they have fun, you as the commissioner are going to have fun with them. But when I go to a pack meeting, the litmus test I have is, are the kids having fun? Was it a fun pack meeting? In Cub Scouts, do your best. Scouts BSA, you need to know the material before you can go on. But in Cub Scouts, each grade is a rank. If the 2nd grader didn't finish the wolf badge, no problem. The 3rd grade, he's going to work on the bear. Okay, how many leaders are trained? It's important. Advancement, belt loops, important, all of that sort of stuff. But the question is, did the kids have fun? I use the parking lot test. At the end of the meeting, in the parking lot, did the kids and the parents say, wow, that was fun. Can't wait to come back. What are we going to do next meeting? Now, Aaron, here's where I'd like you to put a couple of pictures on the screen. Each year, my pack has a boxcar derby. This is where the Scouts and their families build a box. They decorate it, they paint it, they add on to it. Then the scouts bring the box to the pack meeting, and we line up and we race around the outside of the cafeteria. It's total pandemonium. The kids love it. The parents love it. You can see in that one picture where the dads are smiling. Now we have helmets. Every kids have to have helmets. We don't really worry about who comes in first, second, or third because we're just trying to have the kids zoom around the outside of the cafeteria. But it is fun. In this last pack meeting where you saw the pictures, or you're looking at the pictures now, I am not sure we had an opening ceremony. We might have. I'm pretty sure we didn't have a closing ceremony. But I'll tell you something, it was pandemonium. And in the parking lot afterwards, the kids had fun. And when they talk about their favorite pack meeting, they talk about the fun they had in this boxcar derby. What I'm talking about is we want, as commissioners, when you look at the pack meeting and how they're doing and how you can help, what we're trying to do is make sure the kids have a wonderful experience and that the parents and the kids have fun. Okay, watch tip number 5. Tip number 5 is the Cub Scout program is brand new. Actually, it's less than 2 months old in terms of its being part of the program. It's been redesigned by the National Cub Scout Committee over the last several years to be ready for our tech-savvy parents. It's more fun, it's simpler to understand, it's easier to deliver. And there are Cub Scout members of the Cub Scout Committee and a number of commissioners who, if you don't feel comfortable going into a pack meeting as a commissioner, understanding what the new program is, there are many opportunities to be brought up to speed for that. Actually, if you know that the Cub Scout or the Bobcat patch is gone, and now it's an adventure loop in each one of the ranks, it's designed to focus on character and leadership. And if you know that the Arrow of Light rank, which is for the 5th grade, and it's designed to move those Cub Scouts into Scouts BSA, if you know those 2 things, you've got a majority of the changes in the program under your belt already. Okay. What do commissioners want Cub packs to know today? Commissioner service is different. They want to come to your pack and they want to help you. They want to know how they can help. They want to be a colleague. What do packs want? What do Cub pack families and volunteers want commissioners to know? They want you to know that they need a commissioner. They need you. Over 50% of our packs do not have a commissioner assigned or one that's effective. They want you to be involved. And I want to tell you a parable to illustrate that point. Remember the parable of the starfish. Here was this unexpected storm, and on the beach in the morning, there are all these starfish that aren't going to make it very long because they're now out of water. And at the edge of the shore was an elderly man who was slowly picking up one starfish, throwing it back, picking up another starfish and throwing it back. The young man approaches the older man and says, "Sir, you can't make a difference. Look at all these starfish. You're not making a difference." And the older man said, "Well, I'm making a difference to this starfish," and he threw it back. We have a lot of Cub Scout packs out there like starfish on the beach who need help. They need your help. You and I can't solve that problem by ourselves, but we can make a difference to that one Cub pack that we are helping. Okay, so it's a little schmaltzy, but the point is we all need to band together to provide more Cub Scout commissioners for our Cub Scout packs. Okay, now I've come to the time in my presentation where I want to give you the answer to the Cub Scout riddle. Remember, Why do Cub Scouts not brush their teeth? Why shouldn't they brush their teeth with their left hand? And the answer to that is because a toothbrush works so much better. You don't want to brush your teeth with your left hand because the toothbrush works so much better. I know it's corny, it's silly, but remember, this is Cub Scouts, and we want to have fun. Well, listen, it's Cub Chat Mike. I have really enjoyed spending time with you. I have enjoyed our conversation. What Cub commissioners wanted, what commissioners want Cub Scout families and volunteers to know, and what Cub families and commissioners want Cub Scouts, want commissioners to know. So until next time we get together, I just want to say thanks for being involved in scouting. Thanks for being part of the program. Thanks for watching Cub Chat Live today. And of course, go Cub Scouts and scout me in. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to catch next week's episode. Same time, same place. And let us know how we're doing at go.scoutingmagazine.org/rate-cubchat. We love feedback and ideas for new episodes. And you can visit blog.scoutingmagazine.org/cubchatlive for all our past video episodes. You can see us live. Except it's recorded, but it was live. Okay, see you next week.